Hi, Booyah here. So I just finished the Colorado Trail a couple days ago, and I figured as I unpack my pack to clean everything, I may as well make a little video to talk about things that I liked, loved, didn't use, would have changed for next time, what other people might have done. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Post-hike gear review, basically. I'll start with the things that I wore or carried. Here I've got my trekking poles. These are Lucky Trails, got them on sale. They're the kinds that you kind of twist to extend. A lot of people have like the clip ones, which seem to work a lot faster, but you know, these work, so they're fine. I have duct tape on each of them, about 3 feet, what I started with on each one. I used the duct tape a couple of times for blisters. My wee little wallet, I'll talk about in a second, it started to come apart, so I planned to duct tape it, never actually did, but yeah, so these are my poles. They also work as my tent poles. I use them to set up my tent, so that saves on poles for that. So loved them, it's worked great. Poles. I wore an Adidas hat. Started off as blue, now it's more of a gray, I guess. Worked to keep the sun off my face. My ears got sunburnt because they don't cover ears, and I didn't use sunscreen often enough. But other than that, it's lightweight, and looks like my dog's gonna join me. So hold on. Come on. Come on. Alright, never mind. Okay, moving on. I wore this little buff like pretty much all day every day. It helped when it was cold. It actually was nice when it was hot because it kept my neck from getting sunburned. If it was on me, I always had it, and it was never too much. So wore a buff. Let's see here. I have these REI trousers, pants things. They're zip offs. I never actually unzipped them. I like the protection, sun protection, bug protection, protection from cold. So yeah, I got them a couple years ago. Really lightweight, they work great, and that's what I wore for the bottom half. Top half here, I got a Columbia sun shirt from REI. It's long sleeve. Same reason I like the pants. Sun protection, wind protection, everything protection. It was lightweight, it dried fast. I had never hiked with long sleeve before, but I don't think I'll go back now, so this is absolutely great. So loved it. And then sports bra and underwear, which is basic. Yeah, socks I got were icebreaker wool socks. I was pleased with them for a while, and then the last week I found that there was a hole in the heel of one, so I guess they didn't last as long as I wish they would have. But whatever, they worked. They were fine. So one pair, or I think I have a couple more, but hiking socks. And then I used these Merrill shoes. I think they're hybrids or something. I had the same ones before. These were brand new when I started, but they started to fall apart really quickly. Like within the first 100 miles, there was like a hole in the top of this one. They're really wearing out on the inside. So the heel, I mean, like the soles and stuff, lasted really well, but I was not pleased with how quickly the insides kind of wore out. They still smell absolutely horrendous, so I'm going to put them over there. But they were comfortable. Your feet kind of get hot in them, so I took them off a few times throughout the day just to prevent blisters, and they're waterproof as well, so a little bit of rain or puddles didn't soak my feet, and if they did get wet, they dried really fast. So yeah, I really like them. My sunglasses I wore a Fitbit, a step counter. Probably averaged about 40,000 steps a day, I think. Yeah, so this is my wee little wallet. I actually didn't carry it with me all the time, but I had it in my pants because I had it out the last day when it was just in my pack. But I just carried a credit card and a debit card and like $10 of cash. When I was in Twin Lakes, I wished I had more cash because there's this lady that offers a bed up to hikers for $50. Obviously she doesn't take credit cards because she's in a house, and there's no ATM, can't get cash back or anything in that town, so I was kind of like screwed. But then Split and Two Step showed up and they had extra cash. They lent it to me, and then I was able to wire them some money, so that worked out fine then. But yeah, that's just what I carry is lightweight. Again, yeah, it was falling apart. There's a wee hole here, but I can just tape it up and keep using it, so that's cool. The last thing I carried on my person was the data book. I just kind of had it in my pocket for easy access. Used it quite a bit, so the water wasn't always accurate, nor were the campsite symbols, but whatever, you just kind of do what you do on the trail. So, right, that's what I carried on me. This is my pack in here. It's a Osprey Exos 58 liter. I loved it. It was great. It's comfortable. It worked for what I needed it for. Yeah, I was able to fit everything in all the time. Sometimes I had it stuffed to the brim and still functioned really well. I think it's meant to not have more than 30 pounds in it at one time, but I did weigh it at one point and I had 37 pounds of weight, and that was with 8 days of food and 3 liters of water. So I thought that was pretty good, actually. I have no idea what it weighed when I started, or even what it weighs now, but I might weigh it afterwards, and I don't know, we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to start with what's on the outside of it, and I'll get into the inside. So this year is I got a solar charger off of Amazon for like 20 bucks. This is it here. It's PowerAd. It's really slow charging in the sun. I think it's for every 10 hours of direct sunlight, it charges a quarter of it. So it takes like 40 hours to fully charge. But it charges my phone about 2 to 3 times when it's fully charged. So I haven't used it as an external battery or an extra battery. And then I did have it clipped to the outside like a trickle charge just in case I needed like a little bit. But it's kind of heavy. I think in the future I'd just get something that would charge 2 to 3 times and not worry about the solar bit because it wasn't really that useful. But it was nice to be able to charge my phone in any case because I used it for like my pictures and for the app, which I'll get to in a second. Okay, so here is my fuel bottle. I used heat. I have an alcohol stove, so I put my heat in here, and that's what I used. Bug spray here. You know, it looks like a big bottle and unnecessary maybe, but I had gone on a trip before and I had like a wee little pencil bug spray type deal, and with one application it was half gone, so I was like, I'm not running out of bug spray this time, so I just got a big bottle, and it's actually almost empty. I used it loads of mosquitoes out, so very happy to have this, and it was like easy access too, which is brilliant. And then the last thing in this pocket here, really cool thing actually, I call it a male device. It's basically a funnel so that women can pee standing up, which is a lifesaver, and many, well, I guess not a lifesaver, but came in really useful, especially above tree line, but really at any time when you just really had to pee and you didn't want to like go find a bush or run away 100 yards or whatever, you just kind of like can use this. You don't even have to like take your clothes off, which is cool because then less mosquito bites. And I use it in tandem with this here tied to the outside of this handkerchief. I call it my pee rag. So you can just like wipe and then tie it on there, and then it dries for the next time you use it, which is cool. Just wash it every once in a while. But what I did, this might be TMI for some people, but I would kind of tuck this in my pants first, and then I would use this, so when I pulled this out, it wouldn't like leak everywhere, like on my underwear or whatever. So this was like sitting there, and then I would wipe and whatever. Anyways, yeah, so this is a last minute thing. I kind of just threw in there the day before I left, but I'm so grateful to have it. Recommend it. The brand is Freshette. Got it from REI, so yay. Alright. What else? On the other side here. Oh. So got 2 water bottles here. I'll talk about them more when I talk about my hydration system, I think. So I'll do it all at once. But Smart Water, and then there's the basic water bottle that I kind of picked up the last town. So we'll talk about those in just a little bit. And then the last thing in here is a trowel, which you use to dig holes with. Got it from REI. Works pretty good. Just basic. It's only like 3 ounces or so, so it was nice. And then in the mesh bit here, I just have a seat mat that I loved. I think it was worth it. You just put it on a rock or a log or the ground, and it like adds, I mean, it's super thin, but it adds like comfort. So I was very grateful to have it. People saw it, wished they had one. People that had one were grateful to have one. I know it's just an extra item, but I don't know, it's worth the wait for me. So yeah, I almost actually left it somewhere at one point, which would have sucked, but somebody pointed it out and got it. Thanks, Rawhide. So got it, yeah. And then here got sandals, camp shoes. Really, some people didn't have it, other people did. I am grateful that I did. It's really nice to be able to air your feet out in the evening and like not have to walk on the dirt and mud or whatever it was. So I don't know, I was super grateful to have them. Wore them every single day. So yeah, flip-flops. Alright, so the back side here, I kind of clipped, this is my sunglasses case here, so I wasn't wearing them. I had them clipped to the outside. This here is a little compass and thermometer gizmo that I actually had my aunt mail to me a couple weeks in, because I had been really cold at night, and I had a different sleeping bag first, which I'll talk about later, but I was just like, how can I be freezing? It can't be less than 20 degrees, and sure enough, it never got below 40 in the first couple weeks, and I was still cold. But anyways, that just, yeah, I added this later on. It was nice to just know what the temperature was. In this pocket here I have hand sanitizer, which was nice to have. And then in the other pocket I've got my knife, my chopstick, and then sunscreen. I'd started with like a little, it was like rub-on sunscreens, and I kind of used it, but they were kind of hard to apply. I don't know, I only really needed it for my face, my hands, because everything else was covered. But then I kind of forgot about my ears, and it's kind of hard to get it on my ears, and then when my ears burned, it hurt to rub it on my ears. So my aunt actually sent me some sunscreen in this wee bag, just a little bit, and I kind of like stick my finger in and then rub it on. So I had way more than I needed, but it worked much better than the rub-on stick. So yeah, that was in this pocket. Looks like that's it for the outside. Oh, I've got the hip belts here. So in one pocket on the side I have my phone, which again I used as my camera, as well as it has the Gut Hook app, which was $10, but I loved it. I used it all the time. Best $10 I spent, probably. It was GPS, so you could basically find out where you were at any point, how far the next water was. You could see where the elevation profile was. And the cool thing is it doesn't use your cellular data, so you're in airplane mode, you can use it. It doesn't even kill your battery, so that was pretty cool. So phone came in useful. I had a little Ziploc bag in here as well for when it rained. You could just tuck it in there and then keep it cool or dry. On the other side, I always kept one Snickers bar, and then I had a bug net, which is a last minute thing. My uncle brought it to me on segment 3 because Sherpa Turtle had told him that I should have one, so he brought me one, and I actually used it quite a few times because the mosquitoes were pretty intense. I used it like to cook dinner one night, and then I was like trying to lick my spoon, and I was wearing my net, and then I just kept like forgetting I was wearing my net and eating through it. But anyways, yeah, so the bug net I actually enjoyed. It was only an ounce, so I couldn't complain about it, and then after using it a couple of times it was worth it, so I was happy to have it. Also in this pocket I have bread bags, which I use as like my waterproof mitts. So like if it was raining and I was wearing my gloves, I put the bread bags over my gloves with a rubber band. It served as like little mitts. I used them one time. I guess they were worth having when they're light, but it was just the day that it was raining all day and absolutely freezing, so I had my gloves on and I ended up putting those on and I stayed drier. but I wouldn't have paid $60 for waterproof mitts. I don't think that would have been necessary, but those worked for the one time I needed them, so that was cool. Okay, that's the outside of the pack. So then there's this top pocket here. First thing I got in here is my water filter system. I have the Sawyer Mini, which I'll talk about when I talk about my hydration system all at once, which I suppose I could just do now. Yeah, okay, so basically inside I've got a Camelback. It's a 3-liter Camelback. And then I have one more thing in there. So I'll talk about my hydration system in a second. Okay, I'll get to that. Okay. For my charge cords, so I've got one for my phone, I've got one for my solar charger, and I've got the wall port. And I have a cotton ball in here in case I needed to start a fire. I just threw it in there. But anyways, I wish I had brought my Kindle cord, because my Kindle died about halfway through. But thankfully, somebody walked into the hostel last minute, let me use their cord, and I was able to charge up, so it worked out fine. But these are the cords I had. I brought Q-tips because I had seen a little video on Facebook about how to get a tick off. Kind of wet a Q-tip and then kind of like make a circle around the tick, and then eventually it falls off. And I did that because my last trip I had like 5 tick bites that attached. I'm just super paranoid, which is why I tuck my pants into my socks, because just ticks freak me out now. So I brought these Q-tips, never actually used them. I actually forgot I had them. When I was in town I saw them and used them just for my ears because I had them, but yeah, it was kind of a precaution that I thought was necessary because I hate ticks. Didn't actually see any ticks. One guy told me at the end that he actually felt one crawling on him like the last night, so then I got paranoid, but by then I was done, so I didn't actually find any on myself, which is nice. It's toilet paper. I actually had some left over. I started with half a roll, got to Twin Lakes, and I bought a full roll. And then this is the rest of that. So that lasted me pretty much the whole time. You just start to learn to conserve, and yeah, it's necessary though. And then I've got my rain cover, got Osprey brand. It's a large. I had a medium. Guys at REI told me that a medium fit my pack fine, but the truth of the matter is, when it was full, it was a real struggle to get it on. So my uncle actually had a large, and we traded after 3 days. So I used the large the rest of the time, and it worked great. I liked it, so used it enough. And that's it. I also kept my day's snacks up here as well. So that was the top bit. And then open it up. And then there's the inside pocket here. And I have moleskin, which I used I think twice. And each time I used it, because I would take my shoes and socks off like when I took breaks. And every time by the first break I'd take off my socks and like the moleskin had fallen off, and which is weird. I've never had that problem before. I only used it like if I was in my tent in the morning I'd put it on, because my poles were outside, like holding my tent up, so it was easier to get to the moleskin. But if I was walking and I felt a hot spot, I just used the duct tape because it was easier. So I'd probably do without the moleskin next time. It's not super heavy, but I don't think it was necessary for me. Just a piece of paper that I had written on. So I don't know what's in there. Another one. This is a pen that actually didn't work, so I don't know why I didn't throw it away, but I've got a pen that didn't work. This is a Diva cup. It's for that time of the month, for women, and I love it. It saves weight on having to carry tampons and other things. If I only have to change it twice a day, kind of wipe it out and bury it like you do toilet paper and other waste. And yeah, incredible device. So if you're wanting to know more, you can ask, but keep it up. This is my first aid kit. I used a couple of band-aids because I have a sewing kit in here too, so I popped one blister, and then I used a band-aid and the Neosporin that's in here. And I think I might have used a band-aid one other time, maybe? I don't know. But other than that, I didn't really use it, so you gotta have it, right? Just in case. It's my headlamp. I used it one time. In the mornings, like when it's dark and you want to get an early start, it was just easier for me to turn my phone like torch on or flashlight on, because it was like right next to me. I'd sleep with it. Whereas this was like in my pack and you'd have to get out. So the only time I actually used it is when I woke up at 3 so we could start hiking at 4 to climb San Luis, the 14er, because we actually hiked in the dark. So I was glad to have it that day, but I didn't use it any other time. I actually had it set out a couple of mornings and I was going to wake up early, and then it was just easy to use my phone. But I don't know, headlamp, it's important. I talked to other people that use it a whole lot more, so it's definitely something you'd probably want to have. My compass, I did use it like twice, I think, just to know where I was, like what direction I was going. Most of the time you could tell by the sun, sometimes you couldn't, and if there was a storm brewing, I wanted to know where it was coming from and stuff. So I did check the compass a couple times, but then once my aunt sent me the other one with the thermometer on it, I just used that one instead, so didn't really use this after that. And then I've got, oh yeah, and then I found this pen on the trail, so I picked it up. First of all, to clean up the trail, and secondly, because my other pen didn't work, so I got a pen that worked. And then I had a notepad, which I was going to use to jot notes if I felt like journaling. I actually didn't journal. So this would have been useless, except one day I left a note for somebody, and so I was glad to have the paper, but other than that, it wasn't really useful for me. And then I've got my Kindle in here. I took it out of the case to save weight. I thought it was well protected the way that I had it. Zippy in case it rained, it got wet or whatever. But I was grateful to have the Kindle. Kindle's awesome. I mean, you can put like loads of books on it. The battery lasts for ages. And I read almost every night. Got through a few books. Yeah. Especially, I mean, if it's like you're in camp and it starts to rain, so everyone like tucks away in their tent. You're just like, oh, what do I do? So you read, or I read. Yeah, I was super grateful to have my Kindle. And then last thing in here is just the search and rescue card. I think it was like $3, and it lasts a year. Yeah, it was $3. So basically, if they have to send the search and rescue, you're insured. They get you off the mountain, and everything after that you don't have to pay for. Your insurance does. But at least this gets you off the mountain for free. So that was cool. Right, so that's all the top bit. Okay, so then opening up the pack. This has one pocket to get into it, so it's top loading, I guess that's what you call it. Okay, so now I'll talk about the water system because I've got all the things out now. So this is a 2-liter Evernew bladder. So I had this in combination with the 3-liter Camelback and my Smart Water bottle. So this is what I started with. I would use this bottle to fill this, and much easier in the streams to fill a bottle in as a bladder. And then I've got the Sawyer Mini, which is this little guy here, and then it comes with a little syringe thing to clean it, and then it comes with a little bag here that it comes with this. You basically fill this up in the stream, and then you could filter the screws on. But I didn't use this for that. I thought this was much better and efficient. And basically, I hate this filter. I think it's the slowest thing ever. It's only 2 ounces, so it's super light, but I just drove me absolutely insane. So the only way I figured out how to use it was screw it onto here, so put dirty one here, screw it onto here, and then I'd actually sit on the bladder and let it filter into my Camelback, because squeezing it just took so long. It was so annoying. So yeah, I'd literally sit on this as it filtered out, and that was the only way I could do it without getting frustrated. So that was that. And then in the mornings, I realized it was taking me like forever to get ready to cook, because I'd always cook a breakfast, and I'd literally filter my water into my pot every morning. And I finally decided that it's taken too long. What can I do to save time? So I had this. I hadn't even touched it yet. So I ended up filtering clean water into this guy, which is 16 ounces. So I had clean water in the morning, so it made breakfast go quicker. But it was only 16 ounces, and I used 22 ounces usually in the morning. So I was still filtering 4 ounces, and it wasn't until like the last town that I was like, why don't I just get a wee water bottle, fill that up too. So then I've got loads of clean water and then more for cleaning and brushing my teeth, so I don't have to filter anything in the morning. And it was like the best decision ever that I'd made. So I was grateful to have bought this. So yeah, so that ended up being my water system, all this stuff here, and my 3-liter Camelback. People probably did it lighter. They definitely did lighter. Some people didn't even carry 3 liters, get like 1 liter or 2 liters. I always overdid it because I love to drink water and I hate not having any. And if I ever had to carry dirty water, like I had the capability to carry 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5 liters. Never did, but could have if I needed to. So, water system. Alright, next thing is a chamois I used. Sometimes I get condensation in my tent, or if it rained, kind of wipe out the outside of my tent. It's just kind of for like tent drying stuff. This is my op sack, my backup one that I started out with my first sleeping bag that I had. I was able to fit it in here and my pillow, so I kept it dry in my bag in case my bag got wet. But I did switch out my sleep bag later, and I'll explain that later on. But the new one didn't fit in here, so I just kind of had it rolled up in my pack. I usually put my food or my cooking kit in it at night, just for an extra seal so it wouldn't smell. And then there were some times where I had too much food, didn't all fit in my bear bag. So I actually put some food in here at times as well, so I was grateful to have it. Didn't really weigh too much, so yeah, I did bring the extra one along. Alright, so then with my tent, I have it on top for a couple reasons. First of all, when you get to camp, the first thing you want to do is set up your tent, so my tent was right on top and I could do that. Second reason is if it was ever wet when I was packing up, I could just do everything else and then put this in last. If it ever was wet, I'd usually just put it in the mesh in front so it wouldn't get everything inside wet, and then if I'd stop for a break, I'd take it out, let it dry, and then roll up and put it right on top. So, good place for it. This is a Pro Trail tarp tent. It weighs 26 ounces. I really, really liked it. It's so roomy. I slept with my pack in my tent. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, I love my tent. It's nice. Alright, the next thing in here is a food bag. This is a Ursack Major. I don't know if it's a major. It's not the minor. It's major. Anyways, it's a bear-proof one. I didn't see any bears. It was probably a bit overkill. A lot of people slept with their food, but they even slept with their food in just like dry bags or bags that like weren't even odor-proof, just because bears are really scared of humans on the CT anyway. I think one person I know saw a bear, and like it was running the other way, so I didn't get to see one. A lot of people had the Ursack Miners, which are the orange ones, and they're just critter-proof, so they're not bear-proof. And they even slept with those. I tied mine up outside just because I could, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm glad I have it in case I'm ever in like bear country where bears might come. But you know, whatever. I lined it with an op sack, just like I showed you. This one kind of came apart. Like the zip, like, kind of broke, and they're just rolling it, so it wasn't really odor-proof after all, but I still didn't have any problems. So, some people hung their bag. I knew a couple people did that quite often, or almost every night. Saw 2 people with a bear canister, completely unnecessary, and others, yeah, with the bags that weren't even odor-proof that they slept with. So, I don't know, many ways to do it. This is probably overkill, but I didn't mind. This is my cooking kit here. Just kind of put it all together in this wee bag. Kind of go through it quickly here. So this is my pot cozy that I made out of like the windshield reflecting you put in your car. Do this for a couple reasons. First of all, I had dehydrated food that I made myself, so I basically let it soak for 5 minutes, boil it for 2 or 3 minutes, and then I put it in the cozy, and then it like for 10 or so, and then it continues cooking. It also just keeps it really hot. So like literally after it's been sitting for 10 minutes, take the lid off, and like I still have to blow on it because it's like too hot to eat. So it works really well. So I made that. And then inside is my pot. I have just a basic grease pot, like the Kmart grease pot. It was like $10. Lightweight. It's big, but I needed it because I started having double dinners because my dinners weren't big enough, so I put 2 in one. But fill it up and have a whole pot of food, which is awesome. This is like the bottom. So, okay, let's go through this first. This is my coffee filter. Like fresh coffee every morning, which I loved from Napa Valley Coffee. Best coffee ever. So that was really nice, and it made my days great. There's 3 days that I didn't cook breakfast or coffee. I just had a Pop-Tart instead, and those were the worst 3 days of the trip. So it always paid off to cook in the morning. Right, so okay, this is my stove. It's an alcohol stove made out of a can. Worked really, really well. So yeah, basically I'd set this down on the ground and then this on top of it, because the one time I didn't do it in my backyard, the grass caught on fire. So I figured best to have a thing here. And then set my pot on top of that. That's the cool thing about this stove is it's a side burning stove, so I didn't need a pot stand. So yeah, this pot goes directly on top of it. If anybody's interested in how to make it, I can send you the link. It's on YouTube, the one that I made, so it'll be easy to send. Right, that's my stove. I had a rag in here, like a chamois towel, which dried all my stuff. I had a wee like sponge to cut it into a quarter. And then I use this to measure out my alcohol. I usually use 1 ounce, but it was always too much. So, and then this is a pot grabber that I borrowed off my aunt right before I left. Which, yeah, worked great. So that's that stuff. And then got more stuff in here. This was Dr. Bronner's soap. It's all gone now. In the last hotel in Durango, we had like half left. I dumped the rest into the laundry. So it's good for clothes, for pots like dishes, for your hair, your body, everything. Dr. Bronner soap. Good stuff. Got a mug in here. So it was the REI mug. Put a Napa Valley Coffee sticker on it because that's the coffee that I drink. I like this mug because it's got like a little like measuring in here as well. It's got ounces and milliliters, so that was really handy when measuring out water. And right, so I've got a spoon. Here I've got my windscreen. So like you saw my stove set up, I made this windscreen out of a disposable oven tray, like that you'd like maybe bake a turkey in, but like you'd throw the tray away when you were done. So before actually using it, I cut it up and made a durable windscreen that goes around the pot, and it kept the wind from blowing out my flame. And it was really light and it worked. And then a lighter to light my fire. And then last but not least in here, toothbrush and toothpaste. I actually thought I was running out of toothpaste when I got to Twin Lakes, which was maybe a week and a half or so, maybe 15 days, 2 weeks, I don't know. Anyways, so I bought a brand new toothpaste then and never used it. It's still the first one, and there's probably still another 2 or 3 uses out of it. So I carried an extra thing of toothpaste for no reason. But yeah, so that's that. Right, okay. And then got my rain gear, was actually sitting on top of the cooking stuff, but it fell down. So it was always right at top next to my tent in case I needed it. This is a jacket. It's a trespass jacket. Kind of knockoff brand. It's Trestex, which is like Gore-Tex, but not. I did sweat quite a bit when I was wearing it when the sun was out, but that's why you don't wear a jacket when the sun's out. When it was raining, that did keep me dry, so that's good. And it was nice for like a windbreaker as well, if I needed that. These are over trousers, or rain pants, if you will, which worked great. And I'd actually wear them in the evening sometimes, like when I want to take off my hiking pants and I put on my thermal base layer, I'd usually put these on top. Kind of protect me from, like, if it was wet outside or dirty or whatever, I could wear these. So, yeah, rain stuff. And I've got here a beanie and gloves. So I wore the gloves actually quite a bit, a lot of times in the morning. These are black diamond gloves, so yeah, it was good. The beanie I only kind of wore the first couple of weeks when I had the first sleeping bag. It was really cold every night, so I slept in this beanie. Yeah, but after I got a new sleeping bag, I didn't even wear it, so I actually would use it in the morning. I slept with my phone so the battery wouldn't die as quickly, keep it warm, you know, and then when I'd wake up I'd put my phone in my beanie to keep it warm while I packed up, so I guess it had a use. Right, so then I have this wee bag here, this ditty bag. Just kind of go through the inside real quick. It's kind of like odds and ends stuff. So in this bag I have like a hairbrush, which I was grateful to have when I did wash my hair, like in towns. So I mean, I didn't use it every day, which is why it's in this bag, but I'm glad I had it, so I used it enough. I've got a spare set of contacts in here. I've got nail clippers because I went on a trip without them. I forgot to clip my toenails, and I kept stubbing my toe on these invisible rocks, and I got huge blisters. And anyway, so I had nail clippers. I actually lent them out quite a few times. I used them myself, so they were worth having. This is like a match container. It's got matches in it if I ever needed matches if my lighters didn't work. And then I have a backup lighter here, which I actually used because my other lighter got wet, so then I had this one, which is nice. I suppose I didn't need it because I had the matches, so I could have done without it, but whatever. And then I've also got Aquamira tablets, like backup tablets, in case my filter didn't work for whatever reason. There was one night I didn't sleep with my filter because you're not supposed to let it freeze, basically. So, and it actually froze that night. There was frost on my tent, so I was like freaking out about my filter. It worked okay, but I slept with it every night after that. But I was grateful to have the tabs in case it didn't work. A lot of people I met use only tabs because the water is quite clear. Usually you can get it without like debris. Sometimes like there's crap in it, kind of filter through a handkerchief or something. But most people just kind of use tabs, which I thought maybe in the future I might do. So, and then I don't know if I said it yet or not, but I had like backup contacts, just one pair in case something happened to the ones I was wearing. So that was this bag. Everything valuable I'd take again. And then I had a little mirror, like an emergency mirror. It's on the 10 essential list, but I used it to help put my contacts in the morning. So yeah, contact case. And then I brought a wee bottle of contact solution as well. You have contacts, it's necessary. Right, okay, and then this is a wee like towel I used to wash myself. So if I camped near a creek or a stream or something and it was absolutely freezing, I just kind of like wash my feet, kind of get all the dirt off from my face or whatever. Just, I don't know. I mean, you get dirty, but sometimes it helps feel cleaner if you have something to wipe your body down with. I've got hand warmers in here. I asked my aunt to send me some because I was absolutely freezing the first couple of weeks. I only used them 3 times. I used them one night in my old sleeping bag, or it was new, but the one that didn't work. I used one when I climbed San Luis at 4 in the morning, and I used one another time. So I've got extra, so they're kind of heavy, but because I used them, I'm okay with having them. So you never know when you might need hand warmers. And the last thing in here is rope, which actually this is the one thing I think I didn't use. I thought about using it to help tie out the sides of my tent because I picked up an extra stake and I thought it'd be cool to like just tie it out to help with wind. Never did use it, so but I could have maybe if I had to tie something ever. I'd probably take it again because it's light. Anyways, okay, that's that bag. Getting close to the end. This is my clothes bag. This is all the extra clothes that I wasn't wearing every day during the day. So I've got a merino wool long sleeve shirt that I slept in. I've got thermal bottoms that I slept in. Got extra hiking socks, and the same as Icebreaker, same as the other ones. And they also got a hole in one of the heels, very disappointing. I've got an extra sports bra and ex officio underwear. And then I have a third pair of socks. These are my Merrell socks that are 2 years old. And I actually preferred them. They were lighter and they still have no holes and they're older. So, way to go, Merrell, yeah. Well done. And then I have my running shorts too. That I wore these like if I was doing laundry. I wore my rain jacket and my running shorts while all my clothes were being cleaned. I also wore them when I jumped into streams. So they're lightweight running shorts. Yeah, probably not necessary, but I did wear them, so glad I had them. And then what do we got? This is my down jacket. Everybody had a down jacket. So, and I wore it almost every single night and every single morning because it was cold. I thought it was funny when I was in Lake City, came back from dinner to the hostel, and there was like live music that night, so everyone was outside. So it was funny because you came around the corner and like there's like loads of down jackets, like everyone was in a down jacket, and like, oh, Hikerville. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, down jacket. And then this is my sleeping pad, the Thermarest Neo X Lite. Sorry, not X Lite. Yeah, X Lite. Sorry, yeah. 12 ounces. It's super comfortable. I slept amazingly on it. It's great for keeping me warm too. Great insulator. That's what it is. Yeah, so that's that. And then last three things here. The pillow. Some people might say it's unnecessary. I was grateful to have it. It's 7 ounces, but it was only $4. So, yeah, I slept much better with a pillow than I think I would have without. And then I've got here a liner, a sleeping bag liner. It's silk. I have a microfiber one that I started with. And then when I was cold, I had my aunt pick a silk one up for me, thinking that the 5-degree difference would make a difference, and it didn't make a difference because my sleeping bag just wasn't warm enough. But I kept this one anyway because it was lighter, and yeah, works great. So okay, and then last but not least, I think it's the last thing in here. Yeah, last thing. So yeah, this is my pack. It's great. As you know. Right, so this is the sleeping bag that I finished with. I started with a quilt that I had custom made for my lighting equipment. It was really lightweight. It was rated to 20 degrees. The problem was I was cold every single night, and it didn't get below 40. I bought the silk liner. I bought a reflective sheet to reflect back my heat to me. I wore a beanie. I wore gloves. I wore socks, base layer, and I was cold every single night. I wasn't sleeping well, so I had my aunt send me this. It's an REI bag. It's rated to 20 degrees as well, and it made all the difference in the world. I was so warm every night, so comfortable. I didn't even sleep with my beanie anymore, or socks, or gloves. Just the bag, and I use a liner too just to keep it clean. So, I don't know, I don't think that the quilt's rated to 20 degrees. Sad. But anyway, so yeah, I have this bag, which worked great. I slept great. And that is everything. All the gear. Yeah, I guess I used everything except for the rope. I would take everything again, I think. I don't know what I would get rid of. Maybe a new solar charger, get a different battery charger. But, yeah, I hope that it was informative, and if you have any questions, I guess just ask. If you're doing the CT, good luck, it's an awesome trail, and if you're not, you probably should think about doing it, because it's cool. Okay, I'm going to stop now. Okay, bye!